My name is Damon Brown of DamonBrown.net. My thing is helping you on your journey to become the best non-traditional entrepreneur, whether you're a side hustler or a solopreneur. Today we're talking about why your idea does not need to be original to be successful. I run into this a lot in my one-on-one coaching that I do over at DamonBrown.net. And sometimes we end up getting stuck because we believe that our idea has to be wholly original. It can never be a new version of sliced bread. And that's actually not true. And there's a few reasons behind that. Number one, we realize that genius, or have to realize that genius isn't in our control. In other words, you can't make yourself have an original idea. That's not how it works. When I have had my bestsellers, when I did my last startup called Cuddler, which became very popular, we ended up selling it. When I did my first series of TED Talks, all those things were not something that I so-called manifested. And I don't mean in the universe way, but I mean literally making myself come up with a great idea. That's not usually how it works. How it works is actually what Seth Godin would talk about in his new book, The Practice, is doing the practice. You keep showing up, you keep appearing, and then those things start to come together, putting the dots together, or connecting the dots, however you want to call that. So number one, genius really isn't in your control. You can't make yourself a genius. Number two, sometimes we end up striving for genius and then we end up not getting started at all or not finishing. I talk about this in my TEDx Toledo talk from 2018. It's available over at DamonBrown.net, on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/BrownDamon. Please subscribe over there. Or you can actually go directly to TED.com and look up Damon Brown and you'll find my talk. It's called The Power of, or Why You Should Strive for Good Enough. And I talk about Brene Brown and other leaders who talk about perfectionism. And perfectionism is kind of a way that we hide, right? Because if we want to get started on something, but we say, no, it's not quite perfect. I need to get this certification. I need to tweak this. I need to do that before I'm going to expose it to the public. Sometimes that's actually a delayed mechanism. So we're trying to protect ourselves from any type of criticism. Of course, there's no way we can protect ourselves from criticism. That's actually part of the process. As we get that feedback, we get better. If we're expecting us to have genius level ideas from the get-go, we don't allow ourselves to, again, start the practice and actually learn what a genius idea is. I've done 25 books. Some of them are stinkers. Thank you for some of y'all who have supported me along the way. I have a new book coming out called Build From Now: How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. If you're listening or watching this, you can pre-order it at DamonBrown.net or at your favorite distributor. It's coming out January 28th of 2021, and I think it's a very good book, but it might not be. Who knows? And it might resonate only with some of y'all. But I know this book is better than, on that side, all the books that I've done beforehand. And with all the books I've done beforehand, it's a learning process. I didn't come out the gate and have a bestseller. My bestsellers came from putting it out there, getting feedback from you, and doing my very best every single time. So if you don't start, then you can always say, I'm a genius. But if you actually get out there, then you really have to confront your ego with that and realize that not all your ideas are going to be great or genius. So number one, you want to understand that genius is not under your control. Number two, you want to continue to strive for genius, which is fine, but sometimes that ends up getting you into the loop of perfectionism. And lastly, you end up being able to, you can understand that advocacy, for lack of a better term, sorry to think about the right term, advocacy can be just as powerful as doing genius. In other words, you taking up the flag or the tent pole of an amazing idea that you like is just as powerful. The influence that you have can be just as powerful. If you want to go to Martin Luther King, he got a lot of his ideas from Gandhi. Gandhi got a lot of his ideas from previous people. That doesn't make them any less powerful leaders, and obviously it doesn't make their impact less powerful. They end up just taking on these ideas that are much bigger than them. And a lot of our ideas aren't necessarily new. My concept that I talk about, being the non-traditional entrepreneur and the ultimate bite-sized entrepreneur and Bring Your Worth and the upcoming, again, Build From Now, these ideas aren't wholly mine. The concept is mine and the execution is mine. Of course, the writing is mine, but the concepts and the bigger ideas, they've been around, and that's why I pull on so many great people, and I've interviewed a lot of great people who know their practice in some cases better than I do. And so taking and working with their ideas, being an advocate for the bite-sized entrepreneur, for the solopreneur, for the non-traditional entrepreneur, that advocacy is a power center in itself. That in itself is a type of genius, to be able to take all those different ideas and create something new, even though those ideas separately are not new. It's the idea of synergy, of the things together being much greater, the things separately put together and then making it greater than those that are separate. You understand what I'm trying to say. And so you even taking these ideas and rearranging them can make brilliant stuff. And there's infinite amount of business ideas and startups which are worth billions, approaching trillions of dollars, that are not wholly original ideas. They just put X with Y in ways that we've never seen before. So again, don't worry about if your idea, your startup, your product, your service, whatever, is not wholly original. Actually, it might be better if it's not, because people will understand its value perhaps faster than would be something out of left field. And that genius sometimes comes with you rearranging the different parts. If you want to understand more about your genius or more about how you can maximize your resources, you can take my free quiz. It's over at buildfromnowquiz.com. Again, buildfromnowquiz.com. Obviously based on the upcoming book, Build From Now. It's free. It's 3 or 4 questions, multiple choice. Hundreds of y'all have taken it, which I appreciate. And it takes like 2 minutes to take. I heard it's really easy to go through it. And it will help you understand and maximize the very resources that are best for you. And if you don't know your resources, then you can't take full advantage of them. I talk about it much more extensively in the upcoming book, Build From Now. Until next time, remember to always bring your worth and that you can always build from now. Bye-bye.